grab the energy and pull it down.
Okay.
And you're making this like,
Yeah.
like, so here I am. I'm sitting in front of the water. I was on a lake, right?
Yeah.
And there's cottages all over the place. And I'm sitting in front of this window. Here, make sure I get on the camera. Like, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Implement Impact. Here with Trevor Pline and
John J. Thomas.
John J. Thomas. All right. So today's topics, we're going to go over breath work. And again, before any of you guys try this, be sure to consult your doctor. We're not professionals.
Yeah, we're not medical professionals.
We are not.
Consult your physician, your healthcare provider. Consult all of those people before you try implementing anything that we are talking about in this episode.
Yeah. So I say we dig right into it then. Absolutely.
Let's go. So what is breath work?
Breath work is something that we never hear about.
No.
We don't ever talk about it. It's not really even a thing. And I didn't think it was much at all until, I look back and in school, they never taught you, like, hey, if you're stressed out or if you're, you don't have it in your life, you don't know how to deal with stress. And a lot of times you can deal with a lot of stress through breath work. It's weird. When I first thought about it, I thought I was very cynical about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, we're going to sit around in a circle and sing Kumbaya or something
Right.
like that. But there's so much more to it and so much more potential that you can tap into. And we'll dig more into that when we get there. But
absolutely.
It's definitely more than just breathing.
Yeah, no, it is 100% more than just breathing. You breathe during breath work, but it is more than just simply breathing. But that is a topic that we need to cover in the future on a future episode, because there's so much to breathing that we've just kind of lost the habit of that. I don't know. It blows my mind. We'll talk about that later because I'm going to go on a tangent about that. But it, like you said, it's not new. It's been around for thousands of years. Breathwork has been part of basically every religion and every culture everywhere. Even now, a lot of religions maybe don't practice breathwork, but 100, 200, 300, 1,000 years ago, they did. And it's very interesting how we've lost our way with that.
Yeah, and I know you kind of talked about it earlier with Google, like the Google Trends on how much more it's actually Googled. Like now I think we're actually turning to a point to where people are finding out that there is more that they can help themselves with just simple breathing. And let's face it, you can Google what kind of breathing habits. There's like dragon breath. There's there's so many different ways. There's literally, I had a tough time sleeping the other night, and I just Googled like how to breathe to help you fall asleep. Like they have breathing for everything.
Yeah. No, that's it. That is it. And I was actually pretty fortunate to have been exposed to breath work at a young age. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was breath work, but in my childhood, there was a therapist that I saw at one point who really, as you were talking about, like there's breath work for really anything, that can happen. But there was a calming one, a de-stressing one that I was taught where you breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 4 seconds, and I thought it was just kind of like, oh, that's stupid. That's kumbaya stuff and whatnot. And I tried it, and it's still something that I use to this day. When I catch myself like getting worked up, like, all right, breathe in 4 seconds. Now I kind of do boxed breathing where I'll do in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, kind of in a box. But either way, it actually really helped. And that was my introduction to breath work.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, you see, I had no idea. I know people talked about it, and and then you look at the stats, and again, I'm not a doctor, neither of us are, but you look at like how many people have heart conditions, how many people have high blood pressure. If there's anything out there that could lower even some of those numbers, just something that you're not relying on a doctor for.
Yeah.
Completely. I shouldn't say that, because if your doctor tells you to do something, you probably should do it.
Right.
But if there's something that you could practice every day, like some of this breath work that we're talking about today, then maybe you could reduce your chances. And maybe if somebody's young, like you were when you were first introduced, and we can actually take this seriously, maybe we could help a lot of kids too. I mean,
absolutely. No, and that's it. And, I think that's something that we would both agree with. And not everybody who partakes in breath work would necessarily agree with, but it's not a cure-all for everything, but it is a tool in the arsenal. And if it is a tool that works, maybe you don't need the other tools, but it's not a blanket going to fix everybody for every issue possible. But it is a tool that really, I believe, all of us should be utilizing with the approval of a doctor, of course.
Correct. And, at that point, why not have every tool you can on your belt?
Exactly.
I mean, if you don't use it, you don't use it.
Exactly. I completely agree. I would 100% agree. So why people should do breath work, in our opinion, at least, is that there are tons of types of breath work available and tons of benefits from that and tons of reasons why people do it. And, I wrote down a few here. Some of them use it for a calming effect, which is, what I've used forever. Some people use it for energizing. Laird Hamilton actually has one where he does a certain type of breathing. It's Tumo breathing, but he uses that before an event or a competition that he partakes in, and he feels much better. And he's like, yeah, my performance actually skyrockets. And it was in a book that I read. Check out Laird Hamilton. It's really cool.
Okay.
Some people use it for mindfulness, and that's where like some of the meditative type breathing would come in. Some people use it for lung expansion. There's some really interesting studies and case studies of people who have used that to actually improve their overall lung capacity by strengthening their lungs through breath work. Some people use it for DMT release, which is already in the brain. Some people use that to quote unquote get high in your own supply. And some people use it to combat inflammation and injury. There's some really interesting people out there like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's preached that for a long time. A lot of people who have used the Wim Hof method have purported that that's helped them with their inflammation and their injuries and helped heal faster. I haven't had that personal experience of healing a broken bone or anything, but some people report that, and maybe it is true. I don't know, but there are stories of these old yogis, from 1,000 years ago or whatnot, who have gone down in legend of like healing themselves or have only lived on air and, all these crazy things. So there's something there, studies have found that proper breathing and breath work can be lead to a reduction in depression. Again, not a cure-all, but it's a tool. Reducing pain, especially in the back pain in particular, which kind of makes sense to me. I guess if you're strengthening your breathing and you're using your diaphragm and everything to breathe, that it's going to strengthen those muscles. Some people use it to boost their immune system. And the way that that's supposed to work is that the more oxygen you breathe or you bring into your body, that the more that oxygen provides energy to your cells that your cells use to fight off infection. Some people use it to improve their sleep and their digestion, which comes from an increase in blood flow.
Wow. Yeah. And I know that in addition to that, I mean, they talk about mental clarity. I mean, like actually, when you're trying to focus on a specific topic, I know personal experience. I know kind of again with the Wim Hof, he has a push-up challenge. And, when I was applying for a few of my first positions, there was like a push-up challenge where you've got, I mean, not a challenge, but you got to hit a certain number in a certain time frame. And so I was practicing, and this was a long time ago. But I tried doing this where he does his breathing, and then you try doing push-ups, and I like doubled my push-ups.
Yeah.
Literally nothing has changed. If anything, I've gotten like fatter throughout the years. But he ended up applying that, and I tried it out, and it was amazing. Again, consult your doctor first. I really thought it was amazing, like the way that when you breathe through that method, how you basically supercharge your body.
Yeah. Getting all that oxygen in there.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of bounce off that, there's a guy, David Goggins, who was a Navy SEAL, who is like the extreme, like out of this world animal.
Yeah. You question whether or not he's real. I mean, he's real, but you question, like, is he actually an alien? Like, is he? He might be.
And then you read his story, and he was like cleaning up bugs, like he was an exterminator for a while.
Yeah.
And then he was like the most conditioned Navy SEAL out there.
Yeah.
And he had the 40% rule, which is where, you say you're working out and you can't get that last rep or you can't get that last mile and you feel like you're dying out there. Then you hit 40% and you still got 60 more to go.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. But after doing that breathing technique and actually like applying it,
yeah,
implementing it, right?
Yeah.
Seeing all of my reps double basically, like that's wild,
substantial.
Like, I wish I would have known that before I would have done that push-up challenge for the police department, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that actually leads us into a really nice segue to the next topic, which is kind of how to do breath work. And we won't go into like how to do these specific types of breath work in this episode. There's a lot of great resources out there of people who specialize in breath work, who release YouTube videos or podcasts and articles and everything. And I would direct people more towards that. But there's a book that we'll link in the description by James Nestor called Breathe. And in that he talks about how there's these certain breathing techniques for runners who do these certain breathing techniques while running, and they're actually increasing the amount of miles that they're getting, or they're increasing their time. And it's incredible that, again, doing breath work before, during, and after their runs to prepare, commit and do more during that run, but also recover faster after. It's very interesting. But in that book, one of the most interesting things that I found is that that scientists have found like the quote unquote optimal breath, right? And it is breathing in for 5.5 seconds, breathing out for 5.5 seconds, which leads to almost exactly 5.5 breaths per minute. It's like 5.45 breaths per minute, right? And they have studied people from all sorts of religions doing their, like, with Catholics doing their prayers with the rosary and whatnot, or Muslims doing not breathing, but their prayers, or Hindu or Buddhism, all of these religions, right? When they pay attention to how people are breathing, when they study that, it's almost exactly that 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out. So is that some sort of divine intervention? I don't know. Or is that just simply that over the thousands of years, people have figured out this is like the best breathing practice, and that's kind of where they go? But I think that 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out is a great place to start with your breath work, just to train your diaphragm and your lungs and to really get your body used to breathing and to see how good you can feel by actually doing this breath work. But there's tons of types out there. There's holotropic breathing, which reaches altered states of consciousness. That's kind of that DMT stuff that we're talking about, or getting high on your own supply. There's rebirthing breath work, or conscious energy breathing, which talks about how, with the theory behind that, is that we all have trauma from childhood, or really that birthing process, kind of that time, and that's reconnecting and healing that. There's clarity breath work and biodynamic breath work. The list is endless. Look into all of them, consult your doctor, figure out which one's best for you, and see how it changes your life.
Yeah, and the one thing that really caught my attention is just the amount of people like that do this.
Yeah,
that they don't even talk about it a lot of times.
Nope.
Like the people who get up. I know we talked earlier on one of the previous episodes on somebody getting up early and doing breath work.
Yeah,
just
5 a.m.
to
challenge.
make sure you
still
get
going
that.
on. Let
Still
us know how
on.
you're doing in the comments.
So, to kind of go off that, I mean, we're talking Tony Robbins. I know he does one, and this is a story where, hopefully none of my neighbors minded back when I was living at my last place, where he calls it priming, which is actually using dragon's breath, which is a form of breathing, obviously, and meditation, where he wants you to like grab the energy and pull it down.
Okay.
And you're making this like, like, so here I am. I'm sitting in front of the water. I was on a lake, right?
Yeah.
And there's cottages all over the place. And I'm sitting in front of this window. Here, make sure I get on the camera. I don't know what people were thinking.
Right.
Nobody sent an officer or anything like that to my house or anybody to check on me. So it must be, they didn't mind. But I didn't even know what I was doing. And, if you go to Tony Robbins' website, I believe he actually walks you through that process more.
Okay.
But
We should link. We'll link that in the description too.
Yeah, and it basically focuses on, you do your breathing, and then you focus on gratitude, and then you focus on, okay, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? What's my goal? Like, why am I alive?
Yeah.
Like, what do I strive for? Which, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people don't think about that.
No.
Like, some people think, oh, gotta get up. 15 more years and I can retire, and then I can die.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's what, unfortunately, what a lot of people look at is when they can, the day they don't have to get up and do anything, which is essentially what I personally believe is, once you don't have a mission in your life, is when your body kind of just decays on you.
Yeah, there's actually some really, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't know the specifics, but there's some really interesting data on that about certain cultures, why people live longer. I mean, aside from just general health benefits, they think it might be purpose. People feeling like they have a purpose and they have a reason, that it keeps that drive going in that body, that your body going. It's very interesting stuff. We can talk about that in another episode at some point.
Yeah, that's a little off topic.
It is a little off topic, but I think you're right about that, about having that purpose and not wanting your body to just kind of shut down when, like, 15 years and then I can stop, Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to retire and you want to look forward to that, then absolutely go for it. But don't miss out on those 15 years from now to then, because you hate everything and you don't want to live and don't want to deal with all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of great things to do, and breath work might be an option to maximize the greatness of your life in this moment right now. Yeah,
and not to mention, they say that we use that 10%, right? The 10% of our mind. And this is, a lot of professionals believe, and I don't have studies with me right now, but a lot of this breath work is connected to the other parts of the brain that we wouldn't normally use.
Yeah.
So
tapping into the autonomic immune system, or nervous system, not immune system, sorry, that was previously thought by at least modern science, like, oh, you can't tap into this is automatic, you can't do this. And then all of these yogis and all of these people, breathwork practitioners, have kind of shown, like, actually we can, and they've done the studies on it, and they're like, oh, okay, like we were wrong. Now this brings into question everything, like, now how much can we control this? Clearly we can influence it. We never knew that you could do that. So what else can the human body do?
What else were we wrong about that we don't want to admit?
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And actually, that's you were talking about Tony Robbins and the whole dragon breath and priming and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
That's actually something that I've been trying to commit to. My 5 a.m. challenge is waking up 20 minutes, kind of just either doing yoga or the 5 Tibetan rites or some sort of like stretching, just kind of Paul checks working in versus working out, trying to build that energy and, prime myself for the day, do that for 20 minutes, then do meditation or the Wim Hof method for 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes of reading, usually like Marcus Aurelius's meditations or something, right? But that's, again, credit to the 5 a.m. club for the 20-20-20 rule. That's kind of how I'm deciding to operate my mornings. But I do think that there's something to be said about doing the breath work, waking up your cells, waking up your body and everything, but also focusing on that gratitude and focusing on your purpose.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, you kind of went right into our next section here that I planned on going through, is our personal experiences.
Yeah. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No, you're good. I mean, we were going right there anyways. So I've had a few experiences. One, the Wim Hof. I mean, the thing is, this doesn't seem cool.
Right.
Like, it's not. You definitely don't bring it up on a date or anything like that.
No.
Like, if a girl asks you, "Oh, what do you do first thing in the morning?" Sometimes when you tell them, they don't really want to know. Like,
right.
Hey, I get up and I breathe. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. This guy's weird.
Yeah.
Or the Wim Hof thing. Not the Wim Hof thing. The Wim Hof method.
Right.
Where there was, I did it, and I think the most I held my breath for was 3 minutes and 34 seconds.
That's incredible.
And if you ever do try it again, contact your doctor, talk to them about it. But it makes you feel amazing. And it takes less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's very...
And, of course, when I tell my friends this, I was like, hey, I held my breath for over 3 minutes. And, naturally their response is, wow, great, you can hold your breath longer than you last in bed. And like, hey, good. Something good for the girls to hear, right? Yeah. So that's all I got. I mean, I personally have really opened up my thinking. I mean, if it weren't for the breath work that Wim Hof has had, I don't know if I'd even have the confidence to do this.
Yeah, no, it again, in that last episode, and I feel like maybe I'm going to really contradict everything I've said about not many things go down in history as being life-changing for me, but starting breath work in all of its forms, which started off definitely like my real introduction to breath work was to try combating seasonal affective disorder, right? That winter depression and everything, right? And I had a really bad winter about 3 years ago now, and I was like, I will never be that bad, because it affected my girlfriend, right? It negatively impacted our relationship, and I said, I will never get to that point again. Like, I will do whatever it takes. So I started looking up how to do this, and some people were like, oh yeah, cold showers and do this, or some sorts of breathing, and then Wim Hof popped up, and I was like, you know what, I got nothing to lose, I'm going to give it a shot. Life-changing. Since then, life-changing. Cold shower every day, even on days that I don't want to take a cold shower, still take the cold shower. There's been a couple days that I just haven't, but it has been life-changing. That breath work has been life-changing. And I think, like you said, it's been life-changing for you as well. And every aspect of my life has improved. Confidence has boosted. Don't know why. Maybe it's just that, we look like goofs running out into cold water, jumping in there while the ice fishers are out there staring at you. And then you're like, you just stop caring about what people think eventually, and then you build that confidence.
Yeah, and I think there's a point to where you see something actually working, as to where when people look at you different, they don't understand, right? Like those ice fishers, when you're out there basically naked with a chainsaw cutting a hole in the ice. I know originally, I think it was a few years ago, because he's dating my cousin Brooke. Yeah, and she sent me a Snapchat of him in the ice. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, he's probably not going to last long. Like, what a weirdo.
I give him 5 years and he's maybe he'll die up there or something. But until I actually tried it, and that's one thing that personally I'd say do whatever works for you. I mean, I'm a big Wim Hof guy, and I'll put that stuff in the description on how to contact him, how to look at his studies, because I believe before you should imply anything, you should look into it. Yeah, I mean, I know this whole channel, to kind of bounce off what you said, was, you implemented this because you said this is like the worst winter I've had. Right. And I can't let this affect the people that I love and myself. Right. So you implied that, and then you implied the breathing. Yep. You implied cold therapy. Yep. And I mean, depending on who's looking at it, I mean, some people are going to say, whoa, that's like just how I did. Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, you're weird. Yeah. Other people are like, why is he, like, there's got to be a reason. Like, he's not just flat out crazy. Yeah. No, it reminds me of, there's two guys who go by the Minimalist, right? Who I've really enjoyed their content and have moved my lifestyle to a more minimalistic lifestyle because of them. But their story starts out that Josh started out being a minimalist through life experiences that he had, that he's like, I'm getting rid of everything, I'm starting over kind of thing. And his best buddy Ryan, they had been best friends since they were little kids, and then all of a sudden Josh is really happy with his life, and Ryan said that he wasn't, and he said that they met up for coffee, I believe it was coffee, and he's like, why the hell are you so happy? And then he told him about minimalism, and that's exactly it, is that, as you said, there will be people who are like, all right, there's something there, like what is that? Like, what's going on? I'm curious. Like, maybe I'll give it a shot. And you have converted more people into at least trying cold therapy or breath work or Wim Hof method or anything than I have. And you are legit the only person I've gotten into it, and you've been doing it for a couple months, and you have made, I don't even know how many people try it. It's incredible. It's changed my life, and I think people see that. Yeah. I mean, not to mention, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but like when we were out there with those chainsaws
cutting out a hole in the ice. We were
Yeah.
naked. Like people probably thought we were on drugs. And,
Yeah.
And essentially, we were kind of high on our own supply.
You
So
were. Well, we were. Yeah.
We were. Yeah. And no, we don't always normally, like, we're not showering with each other. We're not always naked with each other. As our YouTubers see, we are, don't look at me like that. We just, this is one thing that we've implied with the breathing.
Yeah.
Cold therapy is going to be a whole nother episode, but it also leads into other things like cold therapy, max reps. Like this is something that you can, whatever style you find, you implement it, and it's another habit, I'd say. Another tool on the belt. It's another habit to where you take this one little win and then you start stacking these wins.
Yes.
And that's how you get to where you need to be. Little victories.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it, is that I see it as that, again, consult your doctor, consult your physician, healthcare provider, do all of those things to make sure that this is okay for you to do and not dangerous. But starting off with that breath work has led me into meditation, has led me into learning so much more about physiology and like the human body and how everything interacts and how to optimize your body. It's led me to eating healthier and wanting to be healthier, exercising more, really trying all of these things to really improve my life. And I would say that they all have, and it's also helped me cut out things in my life that weren't beneficial, that were actually negatively impacting me. It's helped me kind of just get rid of all of those, not all of those things, but help me see through those things, help me be more patient and tolerable with difficult people. And I think it's a great starting point. I think it's a great place to start this whole podcast. We started with an introduction podcast, but the first topic video, I think breathwork laid the foundation kind of for us. And I think that's a great place to start. And again, look it up, try it out. We aren't affiliated with any of the people. We're not affiliated with Paul Chek or the Minimalists or,
we're not really making a profit off of
No,
this.
no. This is. If you would like to give us money, feel free to reach out, but don't scam us. But no, really.
There goes our ratings.
Yeah, just tanked. No, but seriously, it is life changing. It's helped me out, and it's one of those things that, as I said, not a lot of things have gone down in history for me, or will go down in history for me to be life changing, but breath work definitely will.
Yeah. And one thing that was kind of weird too, and I guess we could cut this part out if we need to, but when we went with those chainsaws, and that DNR officer, she was there, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out, and she's like, oh, fishing, like any luck or anything like that, and I was like, no, we're gonna go jump in the water. And she looked at us, like, okay.
I'm going to go back and record a couple drownings.
Yeah, exactly. Don't die, I guess.
Right.
Because that would look bad.
Yeah. What's funny is that she's actually in a couple of the mountain biking Facebook groups I'm in.
No way, really?
Yeah, dead serious.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. She seems like a super cool lady.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment on there. Like, I was one of those guys jumping into the water that you thought was going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
But, all right, man. Well, I think that kind of covers everything. Oh, quick disclaimer with the Wim Hof method. Make sure you do that in a safe place. Any of the breath work, don't do it in water. Don't do it in any place that you could fall and bunk your head. Sit in an open, safe space. Lay down. Be comfy. And as always, talk to your medical provider. Talk to your physician before implementing anything that we have said here. We are not doctors. But I think that is the close of this episode, unless if you have anything to say.
I'm good. One thing is, consult your doctor.
Yes.
And tune in next time.
Next time.
On Implement Impact.
Where we
take faith through fear.
That's right. See y'all later.
See ya.